Good morning everyone, my name is Michelle, I hope you're doing well. Welcome to another video. It is Thursday morning the 5th of June. In this video I want to give an update on the manhunt for Travis Decker. Travis Decker is a 32-year-old father of three, or at least he was until he brutally murdered them all. Peyton, Evelyn and Olivia, aged 9, 8 and 5 respectively, were found dead after a weekend of searching for them and Travis, their dad. As far as I understand it, he is their biological father. If you want a full timeline, the press conference that the cops did 2 days ago now gives a really good timeline. And I played that in its entirety, uninterrupted, in this live stream over on my other channel, my second channel, Michelle Walks. So if you're new to this channel and you like my content, then please do go over to Michelle Walks, because it's more of the same over there. I've been doing Karen Reid live streams over there, trial recaps, but I do all sorts of stuff. While you're over there, go and subscribe. You can access all my live streams that I do over on Michelle Walks in my live streams playlist on this channel, because I put everything that I do live over there in the playlist on this channel as well. Okay, so without further ado, the cops have done another press conference, so I'll play that uninterrupted at the end of this video. So if you're just here for that press conference, then feel free to skip ahead. If you know the background and you know everything, then you don't need to watch the rest of this video. But what I want to do in this video is give some background information around Travis himself. So, inside the manhunt for the missing Washington dad. Let's go. So the three young sisters went missing during a visitation with their dad. A court-ordered visitation. Through their custody agreement, Travis had visitation rights. Recently, he'd become homeless and he was living in his truck at various campgrounds. I think he was spending some time in motels as well, but he was homeless. He's mentally unwell. He was court-ordered to attend mental health treatment and a domestic violence anger management program, and as far as we understand it, he didn't bother attending those. So, declining mental health, homelessness, but yet still allowed to have unsupervised visits with his daughters. Look, no one thought he was going to murder all of them. Absolutely not. He was involved in their life. He would go to sporting events and things like that the girls took part in. So they were found dead on June the 2nd after this, what should have been a 3-hour visitation on May 30th, which was the Friday. It's a huge manhunt for this monster. My speculation is that he's done himself in somewhere. But if he's alive and the cops are going all out seeming to think he's alive, then once he's brought to justice, what would his defence be? He can maybe claim insanity because he's mentally unwell, but he knew right from wrong because he's now on the run. So I don't think an insanity defence, even if he is mentally unwell, is going to really wash. I guess he could also say he didn't do it, that someone else did it and he was kidnapped or held hostage or something like that, and technically possible, but Occam's razor. Okay. So, the Decker sisters, Peyton 9, Evelyn 8 and Olivia 5, were found dead on June 2nd after vanishing on May 30th. Following the news of their deaths, a GoFundMe page was set up for their mother, Whitney Decker, by friend Amy Edwards, who described the tragedy as heartbreaking. It truly is. We are heartbroken to share that the girls have since passed. Their light touched so many, and the pain of their loss is immeasurable, Edwards wrote, adding an update that she will miss seeing their sweet little faces. While their dad Travis is yet to be found, he is facing charges related to his daughter's deaths. According to ABC News, Chelland County Sheriff Mike Morrison had a message for him during a June 3rd press conference. Travis, if you're listening to this is your opportunity to turn yourself in, do the right thing. Do what you need to do and take accountability for your actions. I absolutely seconded. We're not going to rest, and we're going to make sure we find you. You will be brought to justice. Those young ladies deserve it. There they are. Absolutely beautiful little girls. Can you imagine? So the Decker sisters were last seen on Friday, May 30th, after leaving their Washington home for a planned visitation with their father, Travis, as we know. The next day, the Wenatchee Police Department released an endangered missing persons alert and said that the young girls were believed to be missing and unable to return home on their own, explaining that they headed out with their dad around 5 p.m. the day before and hadn't been heard from or seen since. So 5 p.m. should have had them back by 8, and Whitney rang at 9:35. An Amber Alert was refused. The cops tried twice for the State Patrol to issue an Amber Alert, and it was declined. But I discussed that in the live stream over on Michelle Walks. I'm furious about that, quite frankly. The statement also noted that the investigation had not met Amber Alert criteria at this time. Per the New York Times, they were reported missing by their mother, who was divorced from Travis. According to Wenatchee Police Department statement, the visitation was part of a parenting plan, noting that he had gone outside the parameters of it, which is not normal and cause for alarm. But yet the State Patrol refused to issue an Amber Alert, saying that the girls weren't in danger. Per the New York Times, their mother reported them missing May 30th around, I thought it was 9:35, but anyway, I'm not 10 minutes. Travis was supposed to drop them off by 8 that night, but that didn't happen. It was late enough that she felt the need to call police because it was out of the ordinary, Captain Brian Chance of the Wenatchee Police Department said per the outlet. According to the affidavit, his ex-wife told police she was concerned because Travis was currently experiencing some mental health issues. Per Wenatchee Police Department statement, Travis is homeless and living in his vehicle or at various motels, hotels, or at campgrounds in the area. There he is. Monday, June 2nd, Washington State Police announced that they had cancelled the endangered missing persons alert. Though officials did not immediately say why the alert was cancelled, they announced the next day that the 3 girls had been found dead. In a press release, the Wenatchee Police Department shared that the authorities located their father's car, their white truck, near the Rock Island campground in Chelan County, Washington, and found Peyton, Evelyn, and Olivia dead at 3:45 p.m. on June 2nd. Travis, however, was not located at the scene. Fox 13 Seattle reported that his vehicle was found with 2 bloody handprints nearby, where the girls' deceased bodies were located. The outlet also reported that various personal items were found inside, including blankets, food, car seats, and a wallet on the centre console. According to court documents, which I haven't seen, if anybody's got them, can you let me have them? I tried to find them, I don't know where they are. The media have got them, so why are they not sharing? Maybe they are and I just can't find them. But let me know, please. According to court documents obtained by Fox 13 Seattle, Travis's cell phone activity reported showing he drove to and left the same campground on the day prior to the kidnapping. So was he setting things up there? You have to ask yourself. And those bloody handprints, well, DNA, I think, will prove that those bloody handprints are his. And that ties him directly to the murders, especially if that DNA is a mixed sample and the girl's DNA is also within that. He's banged to rights, if so. Banged to rights. The cause of death for the 3 sisters is likely to be asphyxiation, according to a preliminary report seen by Fox 13 Seattle. Per Cleveland Clinic, asphyxiation happens when a person doesn't get enough oxygen to their body, more commonly known as suffocation. It's unknown whether Decker is currently armed, but he may pose a significant risk if approached, and he has former military experience. Per the New York Times, Morrison said that authorities had no leads on his location and believed it could be anywhere within the nation. Now, there was an interesting buzz on social media last night before I went to bed that there'd been a sighting in Idaho. The latest press conference that happened overnight my time says that that lead was checked and it was not him. Police said during the press conference that there would be a $20,000 reward for any information leading to his arrest. So he's facing 3 counts of first-degree murder, kidnapping, on top of the custodial interference charges he was already facing. So let's look at this New York Post article. It's got more background about Travis himself. An urgent manhunt continues Wednesday for Travis Decker, the homeless veteran wanted for the murder of his 3 young daughters. Oh, they were tied up. Tied up bodies were found with plastic. Oh, no. No. Whose tied up bodies were found with plastic bags over their heads. All right. The military veteran, whose ex-wife, the girl's mum, repeatedly warned he was becoming alarmingly unstable, remained at large Wednesday, as we know. Okay, here's more about him. Look at them. Look at them. Decker appears in multiple social media posts from Armed Forces members. He's believed to have been a paratrooper who earned the Elite Ranger tab, meaning he has wilderness evasion and survival skills. Also qualified as an instructor at the US Army's National Guard Warrior Training Center at Fort Benning, Georgia. What happened? What happened? He was a member of the Washington National Guard since 2021 after transferring from the active component, but he had been awaiting disciplinary discharge for not showing up to his monthly drills. Okay. The last drill he attended was around a year ago, according to reports. Decker's wife, Whitney, filed for divorce from her husband last year, citing mental instability as a reason. He was diagnosed with borderline personality disorder towards the end of the marriage, and Whitney didn't believe he was taking any medication. Court filings seen by Cairo 7. Travis also had some emotional and mental health issues that were the primary catalyst to the end of our marriage, and have also affected the girls greatly, she wrote in court paperwork seen by the Seattle Times. He was in the Army for many years. Upon separation from the Army and transitioning to the reserves, his BPD and narcissism became rampant, she said. In recent months, there was an escalation in Decker's behaviour. Why on earth was this guy allowed, by court order, to continue to have unsupervised visitation? Questions need to be asked here. Not of Whitney. I don't think she has any blame in this circumstance. She was doing what the court ordered her to do by letting the little girls go with their dad. He had some outbursts where he burst into my home against my objections and yelled for the girls, adding she didn't want to stop him from seeing his daughters. Travis just keeps getting more and more unstable. He made huge sacrifices to serve our country and loves his girls very much, but he has got to get better for our girls. Warning that otherwise she would have to keep Travis from the girls, which she did not want to do. A large-scale search for Decker is underway, including local, state and federal agencies. They've got the National Guard, they've got the Marshals, they've got everybody. Police requested the public's help in finding Decker. Described as 5'8", 190 pounds, 32 years old, black hair in a ponytail, brown eyes, last seen wearing light shirt, dark shorts. Vehicle, 2017 GMS Sierra. That has been located, so we're not looking for that vehicle, but just to let you know if you saw it, you know, he might have travelled to places where he's hidden stuff. You know, he's on foot, so is he in the wilderness hiding in the vicinity where the girls were found and his truck was found and his dog was found? You think his dog would have gone with him, so I don't know whether the dog was tied up or in the vehicle, but you would think that his dog would go with him. But thankfully, I think the dog was safe and fine. I just can't get over the fact that they were tied up with plastic bags over their heads. That's absolutely horrendous. That is just disgusting. Look at him. Look at him. Oh, God. All right, I'm going to say goodbye here. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and here's the press conference uninterrupted. Bye, guys.
Try not to disturb anyone's microphones here. Do appreciate everyone coming out. We don't have as much information to provide today, but we have been working tirelessly throughout the day with our federal resources, state resources, neighboring agencies. As always, I'd like to start off just by recognizing the Decker family, let them know they're still very much in our thoughts and our prayers. We've been working hard. Peyton, Evelyn, and Olivia are clearly a motivating force for us. A lot of our guys are working with sleep deprivation, but their thoughts are always on the girls and making sure that we're staying motivated and getting the results the family expects out of us. So As we mentioned before, not much to go off of. We have been following leads thanks to the FBI and their analysis team that has been going out, processing social media leads throughout the nation, not just here locally. Following up those leads, we've been assigning detectives, marshal services, representatives to go out and do interviews. We also appreciate the nation police departments. We had one in McCall, Idaho today, was doing follow-ups for us. So we're not just keeping our focus here within Chelan County, we're also focusing nationwide on other leads that are coming out. Again, thank you to those police departments, sheriff's offices, state agencies across the nation that have stepped up to assist us and giving us the additional resources that we desperately need. Clearly, this is not the outcome we wanted to see. We were hoping that we could find Travis today, but we are feeling optimistic thanks to our Marshals Department that has come through and tracked down some good leads that we feel are giving us more of an insight into Travis's mindset, where he may have not gone or may have gone to. And we'd also like to thank the FBI and their behavioral analysts unit that has also gone through, done an assessment of some of the interviews that we've had regarding Travis and made a determination on maybe what his thought process was, what decisions he might have made, and where he had gone. In addition to our detectives also following through some of the financial documents, tracking areas that he had previously frequented, and we're optimistic that we will find him shortly. We'd also like to thank Spokane County Sheriff's Office for coming out, Sheriff Knowles, having their helicopter fly from 6 o'clock this morning to 11, as I understand it. At 11 o'clock, our helicopter was also on ground at the fish hatchery in Leavenworth to fly the Icicle Creek. We also deployed our Swiftwater rescue team to go through there and start searching the creek in cases that Travis did enter in there. The water is running pretty quickly now thanks to the spring runoff, but we're optimistic that with our air units up in the sky, looking over the terrain, it's definitely diverse when you're talking about the amount of acreage that we're covering, that we're doing the best we can. We also want to thank Sheriff Myers down in Kittitas County for deploying some of his search and rescue units, checking trailheads on the backside of Chelan County to see if there's any opportunity that Travis might have made it out to that location. We have learned so far through our investigation today that he is well versed in outdoor survival. And talking with his father, it sounds at times that he would go out and would be leaving off grid for sometimes up to 2.5 months. So we also understand too that he at times would do caching. So we understand that that's a possibility that he could have scoped out this area before, put supplies out there, and has the ability and the knowledge to survive for a long period of time. We saw this before a couple years ago when we assisted Kittitas County with a similar case. So we are putting our resources out. We saw our SWAT team today out off the icicle drainage, checking residences through there, in addition to us still having units out on the ground, continuing to check, in addition to expanding out and looking at local counties. So we're going to continue to do what we need to do, partnering with our federal partners. We will again want to say thank you to the FBI, Homeland Security that has assisted us more yesterday. Also going with the Marshal Services, the Washington State Patrol that has been working alongside of us, along with their detective units. And we've also had a forensics electronic detective going through the cell phone and other electronic items that we've collected on the scene. So we're hoping to gather more information, take that intel that we've gathered today, and continue to press on tomorrow. But at this time, we have not found Travis. My message is still the same. Travis, if you're out there seeing us, we'd like you to turn yourself in. We want a peaceful resolution to this, but we're not going to relinquish our efforts and giving up any effort that we can proceed to track you down. So please turn yourself in. Let's wrap this up and do what's right for your kids. So any questions?
Sir, are you any closer to establishing a motive?
No, and I don't think there'd be any motive that'd be acceptable. I mean, clearly, it's not the decision of a sound mind, and these young girls were a victim.
Was a body discovered in this area you're searching near Leavenworth today?
They were discovered earlier this week. It was outside Leavenworth. You're more up icicle drainage around milepost 18, around Rock Island Campground. And we do have a map that I think we've already shared online, but it is more of a rural campground.
Was there, maybe it's unrelated to the case?
Okay. No, there was another individual that was located today, not related to the case, and that was out towards the Big Y where US 2 and 97 connect, but not related to the case.
Sheriff, you mentioned McCall, Idaho. There were reports of possible sightings, or maybe it was just the fact that the department received tips. Any credibility to some of that? I know you mentioned they did some investigating. What have you learned from that?
I can tell you so far today we had a possible sighting on East Leavenworth Road. We checked that out. It was not Mr. Decker. We had another one out at milepost 83, US 2. And then, of course, we continue to hear information about other possible sightings from across the nation. As we understood, based off the information we got back, was that the sighting in McCall, Idaho was not our suspect, but we'll continue to work with our neighboring agencies, not only here in the state, but across the nation, to help us track down any leads we do get.
What kind of head start do you think he had, knowing the truck was found Monday? When do you think he started to go out?
Worst case scenario, we could see that he might have gotten a head start on Friday, so he would have had the whole weekend to be out there. But we're still tracking it down. We will have our autopsy results. It should be coming back tomorrow, and we'll get a better idea of what kind of time frame we're looking at.
Is there any knowledge that you guys may have of him possibly making his way back to Wisconsin where he's from?
We're not ruling anything out. So, I mean, we have been in touch with agencies, of course, across the nation, and just tracking down leads. We are aware of other connections he has. We've interviewed friends, co-workers. We're optimistic that we can track down his location.
Sir, you left his truck behind. Did you find in that truck any writing, any note?
Our detectives are still going through that process. I know that we worked with the Washington State Patrol Crime Lab yesterday, in addition to our detectives, process all that information. And today, as I was leaving our emergency operations center, we did have members of the Washington State Patrol that were processing some of the cell phones we located in the vehicle.
What military training does he have that could be a factor in his ability to elude authorities?
We do understand, and we're getting more confirmation that he might have possibly gone through mountain survival school, but we also know too that he's been an outdoorsman since he was a kid. Talking with a parent, it seemed like this was something that he was attracted to, liked doing in his free time. So clearly some of the knowledge he's probably acquired throughout his lifetime, in addition to the training he might or might not have acquired through the Army, is something that we're taking into consideration. But we do want to validate what trainings he's actually gone through, and we do have some U.S. Marshals tracking that down as well.
Sheriff, what is your reaction to the fact that he's been out and about, you said, for as long as 2 months? Does that give you room for pause that he is no stranger to being out and living off the grid for so long?
Well, we're certainly an agency that learns from the past. I mean, we saw this before, I believe, around North Bend. I don't know how many years ago that was, where they had an individual who had been involved in a similar incident and then had dug himself a bunker out there. So we take that in consideration, that he may be aware of our surroundings, has the ability to survive, and that's going to certainly make it more challenging, but we're up for that challenge. I mean, we recognize that 87% of our county is not accessible by road. We've been dealing with that over the last 125-year history of this agency, so we're no stranger to that. We're aware of our terrain, and we'll continue to work with our federal partners and U.S. Forest Service that has stepped alongside of us to assist us in possibly closing down some of the trails in the area in order to ensure, of course, that the environment stays safe for anyone who may come to visit, but that we also have access to go through there and start checking all the trails and locations that we believe he may recreate.
Sheriff, the longer this goes on, what concerns do you have about, you talk about the fight or flight mentality and desperation kicks in. Obviously there's that survival skills element of it, but the longer it goes on, I mean, we've seen where things often go. Do you have concerns for whether it be those who are out looking for him, just kind of where this could all come together, and that mentality someone may have when desperation mode kicks in?
We understand the mentality we're dealing with. We have a well-trained agency. We're a leader when it comes to de-escalation here in Washington State. We were one of the original agencies for that training hub, so we understand that we have the ability to control the pace of situations. We have behavioral health units. We have the ability to communicate with them, and we're going to continue to do that. But our primary goal is to track him down. Of course, we want to make sure that he's safe, but ultimately he will be brought to justice. The amount of partners that have come alongside of us. I mean, again, I've cited the U.S. Marshal Service, the FBI. We've had Homeland Security investigations. We've had Border Patrol's tracking team here. We've had Douglas County, East Wenatchee. The amount of resources that we put on this right away gives me confidence that we are doing everything possible, in addition to working with the behavioral analyst team and also bringing cadaver dogs. We're open to anything and everything, and so far, despite our limited resources, it's part of our mission statement with the resources entrusted to us. I think that a lot of people have come alongside us to help us out. That's why I'm optimistic. So we're not doing it alone.
Sheriff, you said that you've been in contact with his father. What has that interaction been like with his immediate loved ones? What are they telling you about their reaction to this immense tragedy? How are they handling it?
They're frustrated with the situation, clearly, but this is their son. So, of course, that they have concerns about his safety. But overall, they understand that he does have to be brought in and he has to be held accountable for his actions.
One more question, please. One more question.
Sheriff, I just wanted to clarify. You said that with this survival skills coming to light here, how does that change moving forward as we get further and further into this investigation? How you're going to circle?
Well, we understand that he can cover a lot of ground. I mean, certainly, based off what I know from him, he's in decent shape, and he has the ability to go out there, which, if anyone's been out in that part of the county, it's thick. So it's going to make it more challenging for us to locate him, and especially if he's knowledgeable and he knows how to conceal himself. That will make a unique challenge for us. But we feel pretty confident in bringing members of Border Patrol in too, with their experience of working in more diverse terrain, especially along our Canadian border. We have people who are experts in that field as well, and also excel and have the military training as well. I mean, we recognize he's not a subject matter expert. I'm not going to glorify him in that sense. I do appreciate his service, but overall, we have other men and women who are assisting us who are also military veterans and have that kind of background and experience. And I would certainly point out our Forest Service deputy that was able to immediately locate it as soon as we got information about a general area where he's at. We're up for that challenge. So, thank you.